Hasuda told Mahiro, Neruko, and Fuko that she was looking for someone, and it turned out to be Yoriko, Mahiro's mother. Someone happened to be listening to their conversation at the cafe. After that, Mahiro invited Hasuda to his house, wondering why Hasuda's father would have any business with his mother. Hasuda had no idea about that. Suddenly, Fuko pushed Hasuda toward Mahiro and said that Hasuda and Mahiro would make a great couple. She even asked Mahiro to let her have Neruko, and suggested that Mahiro start a new romance with Hasuda instead. Neruko quickly struck Fuko and insisted that Mahiro belonged only to her. Fuko reminded her that interfering in someone else's love life would anger the Ulthar cats. Neruko got annoyed because Fuko was purposely trying to pair up Mahiro. Mahiro asked both of them to stop fighting, what at that moment Hasuda felt surprisingly comfortable holding on to him. Later at the amusement park, the four of them stopped to talk about Hasuda's father and Mahiro's mother. Neruko guessed that maybe Hasuda's father and Yoriko were once married. She imagined that Mahiro could have been born when they were together and Hasuda after they separated. Neruko explained that Hasuda's father might be holding on to those happy memories, unable to forget Yoriko, which was why he sent Hasuda to meet her. Hearing this, Mahiro hit Neruko out of frustration. Hasuda was shocked by the thought that Mahiro might be his older brother. Mahiro immediately denied it, saying that Neruko's theory was 99% nonsense. Hasuda admitted that she didn't want Mahiro to be her brother. Mahiro felt guilty, thinking it was because he wasn't a good person. What she really feared was that if Mahiro were her brother, then they could never be together. Mahiro sensed that things were taking a strange turn and thought he had to do something about it. Fuko, on the other hand, was thrilled at the possibility of Mahiro and Hasuda dating. When they arrived at Mahiro's house, Hasuda complimented the place. Suddenly, Yoriko appeared and greeted them warmly. Hasuda mentioned how beautiful Mahiro's mother was. Yoriko asked if Hasuda was Mahiro's friend. Hasuda introduced herself and explained that she had only just become friends with him. Yoriko kindly welcomed her and patted her head. Neruko quickly warned Yoriko not to be fooled by Hasuda's innocent appearance. She told Yoriko that Hasuda was also a god, just like herself and Fuko. Neruko then pulled Hasuda closer and claimed that she was the one who met Mahiro first. Hasuda argued that it wasn't fair, because Mahiro didn't even seem interested in Neruko, but Neruko was convinced that Mahiro would prefer a girl like her. Mahiro just stood there, confused by the noisy back and forth. Yoriko then invited everyone inside the house. Hasuda couldn't believe Yoriko was letting her inside and became nervous about even seeing Mahiro's room. Fuko teased that Hasuda was full of excitement. Mahiro reminded Hasuda that she was supposed to have some business with his mother. Yoriko also asked what that was about. Just then, everything shifted to another dimension. The woman who had been eavesdropping at the cafe suddenly appeared and kidnapped Yoriko. Neruko had no idea who this woman was. It was Louis, who recognized Hasuda and declared that she wouldn't allow Hasuda to take Yoriko. Mahiro was completely lost about what was happening. Yoriko asked what Louis wanted from her. Louis explained that she worked for the Cthulhu Corporation and that the organization had chosen Yoriko because she had the potential to manage space itself. Yoriko said she was just a part-time god hunter and not even good at it. She thought her professor and seniors were much more capable, her husband was far more respected, and even Mahiro was much better than her. The woman suspected Yoriko was only pretending to be humble. Louis whispered something into Yoriko's ear, and Mahiruko begged Yoriko not to listen. But Yoriko eventually decided to go with Louis. Mahiro guessed his mother was sacrificing herself to protect him and his friends. Yoriko told Mahiro not to worry, promising that she would return soon. Louis warned them not to interfere since Yoriko had already agreed. Mahiro asked Neruko and Fuko to rescue his mother. They quickly leaped to the rooftop. Fuko stepped forward and struck Louis with her staff, but Louis whispered something to her as well. Neruko couldn't understand what was going on, but when she tried to attack Louis, Fuko blocked her. The two ended up fighting until Neruko was thrown off. Luckily, Mahiro caught her in his arms. Neruko was thrilled that Mahiro was holding her like a princess, but he immediately dropped her out of embarrassment. Mahiro was shocked to see Fuko siding with Louis. Louis declared that victory would be hers and prepared to leave in her vehicle. Neruko tried to stop her, but Fuko blocked her with a protective barrier. Mahiro was completely confused about why this was happening. Neruko told him to stay calm, saying everything could be solved with a karate kick. She struck the barrier, but it was scorching hot. In that moment, Louis drove away with Yoriko and Fuko. Mahiro and Mahiruko were left unable to stop them. Hasuda then used her wind powers to blow away the barrier Fuko had created. Mahiro gently patted Hasuda's head and thanked her for saving him. Seeing that, Neruko pointed out that she had worked hard too. Mahiro then patted Naruko's head as well, which made her really happy. After that, Mahiro asked them to help save his mother. At that moment, Naruko shared that she had a plan to rescue Yoriko. Once they got into the house, Naruko acted very relaxed and calmly enjoyed a cup of tea, which annoyed Mahiro. He pressed the hot teacup against her face in frustration, wondering how she could be so casual when earlier she had claimed to have a plan to save his mother. Naruko explained that she had already contacted her boss at the Planetary Defense Organization, and that members of the organization were currently tracking Fuko's movements, so Mahiro didn't mean to be so upset with her. Just then, they noticed that Hazuda was missing. It turned out Hazuda had gone into Mahiro's room. Seeing this, Naruko scolded her and quickly pulled her back out. They returned to the living room, and Hazuda explained that she had tried to contact her father to ask about his intentions. Unfortunately, her father was busy with work, so she couldn't get an answer. Naruko then shared that the woman holding Yoriko had said Yoriko had the potential to control outer space. Naruko suspected Yoriko was hiding a secret. Both Naruko and Mahiro guessed that it might have something to do with Sononium. Mahiro thought that since Sononium was something his mother had created, it must be useful. Naruko, however, wondered if it was actually an unknown element with incredible power, possibly even the source of energy strong enough to alter outer space itself. Curious, Hazuda asked what Sononium was. Naruko explained that Sononium was a mysterious nutrient that formed when Yoriko made contact with Mahiro, specifically when she hugged him. To illustrate, Naruko acted it out. Mahiro, feeling uncomfortable, asked her to let go. Naruko then joked about preferring to create something lasting rather than just a mysterious nutrient. Hazuda, fascinated, even mentioned wanting to create something similar with Mahiro as well. Not long after, Naruko's phone rang. Mahiro assumed it was her boss calling. She answered and heard that Fuko had supposedly died. Naruko immediately said she would take responsibility for the matter and promised to deal with it before anything more serious happened. Mahiro began to believe that Naruko truly cared about Fuko. However, Naruko then shocked him by saying that she would be the one to end Fuko's life. Mahiro demanded to know where his mother and Fuko were. Naruko revealed that they were on Earth, specifically in Roria. She explained that the organization behind all of this wasn't some kind of criminal group, since only the Cthulhu Corporation had access to the sunken land of Roria. Mahiro then asked if this meant that one of their employees was responsible for his mother's situation. Naruko clarified that it couldn't be called a kidnapping because Yoriko had gone there of her own free will. Mahiro suspected that perhaps his mother had agreed to it, but even so, he didn't care if Naruko thought he was being selfish. He just wanted her to bring his mother back home. Hazuda immediately volunteered to help Mahiro. Deeply grateful, Mahiro thanked her. Without wasting more time, they headed toward Roria. Once there, Naruko admired the beautiful romantic view of the sea. Mahiro asked if they would ride a dragon like before, but this time Naruko chose to use the Nephron car, her favorite vehicle. It was a special amphibious car designed to easily travel through difficult terrain, move across the sea without issues, and even drive smoothly on the ocean's surface. Mahiro wondered why she hadn't used that vehicle the first time they went to Roria. Naruko casually explained that if they had used it earlier in the story, it would have felt too strange. Sea vehicles were meant for the middle of a story, while air vehicles were for the ending. That was just how it usually went. Hearing this, Mahiro hit her lightly and said that he disliked people who didn't use their full potential. Naruko then quickly started up the Nephron car, which dove into the ocean. Hazuda was amazed, while Mahiro pointed out that it seemed like the car was driving on autopilot. According to Naruko, even though the car was automatic, it managed to handle the red cliffs and fiery fields without any problem. Hazuda really enjoyed watching the fish swimming past the car windows. Suddenly, they were blocked by a group of deep ones who clearly were not going to let them reach Roria so easily. Naruko quickly avoided them, while Mahiro asked if she was sure she could defeat them. Naruko then used her Metapede weapon to attack, unleashing an endless barrage of torpedoes from the Nephron car. Mahiro was surprised at how Naruko showed no hesitation at all. She admitted that she was not going all out against them. Even though she had no solid proof that the Cthulhu Corporation was behind many wrongdoings, she was not willing to back down. At that moment, Mahiro heard something. Hazuda confessed that she was not feeling well inside the vehicle, so Naruko gave her motion sickness medicine. Mahiro asked about the song he was hearing, and Naruko explained that it was Dagon My House, and that the star would soon appear. Right then, they crashed into Dagon. Unfortunately, the torpedo incantation was not working, so Naruko had no choice but to push forward in order to reach Roria as quickly as possible. By that time, Hazuda could no longer take it, feeling nauseous, and begged Naruko not to make too many sharp turns. They were close to Roria Park, but Hydra blocked their path and blew away the Nephron car. Mahiro was thrown out of the vehicle and sank deep into the ocean. Hazuda quickly rescued him and managed to wake him up. When Mahiro regained consciousness, he asked where they were. Hazuda said it looked like they had made it to Rorea Park. Mahiro was shocked that he was still alive. Hazuda guessed it was probably because of the charm in Mahiro's pocket, which had once again protected him. Hazuda admitted that when she found Mahiro, he had swallowed a lot of water and was not breathing, so she carried him to the shores of Rorea and gave him mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. She confessed that it was her very first time doing that, and she blushed after saying so. Mahiro, however, thought Hazuda seemed like a girl for a moment, but then quickly reminded himself that Hazuda was a boy, so what happened was nothing unusual. Mahiro then asked about Naruko's whereabouts, and Hazuda wondered if he was worried about her. Hazuda said that love had blossomed from the second day they met. She openly admitted that she loved Mahiro and wanted to be with him. Mahiro reminded her that they were both boys, but Hazuda explained that her heart had always fallen for men, and she felt it deeply when Mahiro had first run toward her to help, with those warm hands reaching out. Mahiro then spoke about how every planet moves in a cycle of 25 million years, meaning that history eventually repeats itself. He told Hazuda that if her feelings for him remained the same even after 25 million years, then he would truly understand them. Hearing that, Hazuda asked Mahiro to promise to keep those words. Afterward, Hazuda mentioned that it seemed Naruko was inside the huge castle nearby because she could sense her presence. She also sensed Kuko's presence there as well. Without wasting time, they rushed into the castle. At that moment, Naruko was already standing face to face with Kuko and the woman who had kidnapped Yoriko, both sides ready for battle.